Yeah, so regarding introducing, as Mahesh has already introduced, that we work for EGA here in UAE. It's basically system or IT department of government of Ras Al Khaimah. And as part of that, we have very vast landscape over here for the SAP. We have multiple systems. You name it, we have it, sort of thing. Like we have Fury, BW, CRM, ECC, single sign-ons, gateways, clouds, success factors, test server for Hybris, commerce, and all. So it's vast technology, and we are managing it. So this was the big. And regarding particular this session is what I feel was like when I was listening to the other community events and all, that maybe some real time example or which any one of us may come across anytime in our S4 HANA. So if we take this use case and we give something on that, that would be particularly very useful for everyone. So that is why this is a real case which we have done in one of our entities where we implemented S4 HANA. So along with like the main presentation, if we have time, then since I can show you like workflow level what we did, because it's a complete custom workflow, and we have integrated it to the generic my inbox application of the Fiori. So workflow side, if you want to know, if we have a time, I can also guide you like what exactly we have done. Apart from that, there is maybe we can say a tips and tricks of how to play around in unified my inbox. That also I can show you. And third point is one of this other small requirement where the standard workflow or standard workflow like purchase order is already there, and how to enhance it. But the main topic would be like the custom workflow and how to integrate it in the my inbox, so that you don't have to do any I mean single line of your coding. That is what. So this is the brief about me and what we are going to present now. Venu, over to you.
Hey, hi guys. Good morning. This is Venu here. So that's nice today. It's the huge audience. I think it's the title itself. It's what you all to join here today. I'll take care of that and I complete the UI5 developments and the deliverables. So within Russell Kemp government, we will have that in a huge departments within a government sector. So here, me, Apath, Mahesh, we all support to the same organization. So we are part of that and the same work culture and all. So apart from that, when you talk about the technology, as Mahesh said, yes, it's a vast technology. It's an open source. So now, when we talk about it's in a Fury, what I do, I'll just share the few screens and just let's start the content directly. Then we will discuss slowly one by one. Uh, just let me know just as soon as you're able to see my screens, right, Mahesh?
Yes, just share it. I will let you know.
Will you?
You are able to share, right? At the bottom right, you will see present now.
Yeah.
Yes, it is visible.
Are you guys able to view, right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, that's great. That's great. The interesting topic, what we are discussing here, it's in a UX, that the Fury applications, what we develop, and how many ways we can develop this, and is the way what we are doing currently, is that only the way, or do we have anything else? So currently, when we talk about the Fury, let's say in 2013, I'm a part of this in the Fury journey. So when introduced the Fury SAP in 2013, they started with 7 applications. Now, if you take about like in a 15 or 25,000 plus applications, SAP already introduced. The technology what SAP is introduced is a different. As in today, the journey of since 2013 to 2021, it's a huge transformation. if you think about that, technology wise and coding wise and the concept wise and interfaces wise and all this, we have a huge the transformation we have. So what exactly what we do when you develop any kind of UI applications, what is the regular process and what we have in our the new basket. So we have the many things we don't know. Actually, we follow blindly, we follow the contents what we know, but apart from that, out of box we have many. So that is the area what we're going to discuss here. This is the only one small information which I'm going to share today. So you have the more better than this and more than this. So but for that you have to explore. So here during in this session we cannot explain end to end from start to end, but I'll try to give a idea. I'll try to give that information which help you in your regular business and with your the help and practicing and for the next level. So I'm sure that end of this session definitely you will get that confidence. Yes, we can do this by on your own with this small inputs. I'll try to so meet that requirement. Now what normally we do any kind of UI application, the deliverables, like what the end user will expect, what end user will access. So end user doesn't know other than the UI. The business users doesn't know other than the UI applications. He only access that UI platform and the UI application. So he talk about only the UI. But apart from the UI, what exactly we do normally, let's say any the business scenario will you take up, and the first you will design the workflow and you will have an ABAP objects and OData registration activations and the UI apps you will do, and then you deploy and you will create the catalogs and groups, and normally then you create the rules and you assign to the business users. This is the consistent way. This is normally the regular process what everyone do follow here. So hope most of the people in this session today, I do understand that it's most of having the similar background of ABAP and OData and the UI. So these guys are aware of this process, but even there is a few functional consultants still, I'm sure. So after the session, you will get an awareness and the confidence level to talk and understand this. So this is the regular process. Normally, when you design of any kind of UI application, when you deliver any kind of UI applications, so you have a parallel activities what we are doing currently. This is the process what we are following in currently. So now what are the consultant, what are the people involved in this doing in all these the activities? Normally the workflow consultant, do we require to design a workflow? ABAP required to design or develop all the ABAP objects, and the same as an OData consultant. In this scenario, the initially the ABAP consultant, the different and the OData consultant, we have in specific areas and specific consultants we do have, but due to the competition and the interest and enthusiasm, so now the people having within a similar background with ABAP can be an OData consultant, ABAP and OData consultant, and the Fury developer. So the contents, the three areas, and the one person is handling and the workflow. So this is the basic, the information what we are designing, right? So what the skill set what we required to do so, we required, and as of now, no one using Eclipse as in today. I can confirm that. It's most of the people are using the Web ID and the PaaS for the all the front end designing, and the SCG activities what we do for the OData and the workflow and authorizations. So this is the regular process what we're designing, what we're doing in our regular business. So is this only way to proceed? This is the only way. Let's say if you're having the any business scenario and your manager or your leads or someone if give you that one the UI application, okay, if I need a UI application, if I'm designing the UI application, what normally I do expect? I expect OData service as a UI guy. As the OData consultant, he'll expect the ABAP objects. So ABAP, the ABAPer, he will expect like, okay, is that workflow already designed and in place? So this is the what we are following. Is that only the way, or do we have anything other than this? That is what we are going to discuss today. So that is what we are going to crack it today. What the best we can do other than the regular process what we are following now. So let's say we can avoid the few steps what we are doing in a regular way. in especially in S4HANA, that's the vast topic. It's a vast area. So you have a huge content in that. That's you can dig into the any certain level, but within that, I'm giving the small example. The simplified way we can do by using the CDS artifacts and annotation. So without having, without you opening the web ID application, without you designing your web ID UI5 applications, without creating any iView, without creating your controllers, you can do design your UI5 application. That is do possible, and this we can incorporate, we can associate at the standard application. So that is what we are going to discuss. So hopefully, so let's start. Now let's say before we enter into that in real the session, first we will try to understand. We'll take up one business scenario so that everyone we can understand and the follow the process. Let's say the one business user or the business required one approval process, one approval application. That approval process would allow the user to take appropriate action. What are the actions do we have normally? The approve, reject, the basic one. This actions he was expecting to follow the perform from the my inbox. This my inbox is my standard inbox, which S4HANA will provide. It's not a custom one, it's a standard one. Now, our applications, we going to provide within a standard application, because as a business user, as an end user, what do we expect? I will expect to have all approvals in one place, not in a different applications to make my approvals, right? So the always the users will have in one point of contact to take my all applications. Yeah, PO approve, PR approve, yeah, any kind of leave approvals, all this he'll expect in one sort of area, so he can do perform his own actions. So that is what we are going to try now today. So let's say one approval process is required and that you want to perform from my inbox. So what is that in a business process? We name it as an MIR7. This is MIR7. It's a financial sector. It's a financial area background application. So which is required an approval at certain levels within the business. Now, what are the environment, what we are using currently to build this business scenario? The environment would be, we are using now the S4HANA 1809, the plus onwards, you can go with that. And the basic, the baseline of this, you required an ABAP 750. The contents, what we are discussing, the contents, what we are presenting, the contents, what we are, the processing now, this is the baseline of ABAP 750 you required. Now, what the designing environment to have this to approach to deliver this business scenario, what are the we required? We required a workflow, right? And we required a normal way, we required a workflow, ABAP, objects and OData and all these things, right? But here we are not going to use this. Of course, workflow we are using. Apart from the workflow, we are involving now table functions. What are the table functions? AMDP classes. What are the AMDP classes? CDS views and annotations, and the UI catalogs, groups and roles and authorization, which is a basic. This is a common across all the models. Now, let's say the step one, what is the table functions? Now, let's say the table function, which is having to introduce, it's a new technology, the new concept, which is designed in SAP HANA. So there we can use that. It's in a what do you call it? It's an ABAP objects directly. So you have in three types of the views what you can create here. So for that, I will show you some of the views. How does look like now? Where we can design this table functions. It's an Eclipse. Now it's in HANA Studio. We cannot use it in future. So better you have this in Eclipse. Any of the Eclipse you can have it. So you can do it's in it's a free open source, and you can get it done in from, you can get download from the Google and you can install in your system, and just you need a SAP system of this, the whatever the environment, whatever we suggested. Now here, what we do normally, if it's any OData consultant, what he do, he will just connect to the ABAP objects, right? Tables, right? So that's normally the simple way the table functions we are going to design here. So what we are going to connect, what exactly you going to define your objects in ABAP, what the data elements you're going to connect during your deliverables, during your the UI5 applications. So those are the data elements you're going to be defined here, you're going to design here. So the simple way to do so, just create the table function. So for the creation of the table functions, you can create the projects, and any project you can create by adding this ABAP project, and simply here, and you can go to the. So hope you guys know all these things, but still I'm just giving that it's in a rough information so other people can do understand. So here, create the project. I think it's a bit slow here. Okay. Create the project and select all these things, and whatever here you select it and create the project. And after the project creation, you will see this kind of a project. Then you can design your package, and then you can design the contents. You can start designing that. So how to create that in a table functions? You give some name, give some description. Hello?
Package.
I think you're missing package assignment.
Package, yes.
Yeah. That's thought if it's so now here you have an option, select table functions with the parameters. You will get it's in a predefined code. So what are the parameters? If you require any input parameters, you can define your input parameters, and you will get that in the return values. Now here, simply I'll create that only one. So this is what it's not defining the table function. You will give the name, and I think someone, can you meet someone, Mahesh?
Yes, you know.
Okay, now it's okay. Now you can define these parameters if it's required. It depends on your business scenario. It's all. So what are the return values? Now, if we take up this, now if you could see here, I prepared the one table function, ZMIR7, TF, it's a table function, get invoice details. So you can follow your own naming convention according to your organization, according to your business scenario. And what are the return parameters which are required? These are the return parameters which are required. So I'm getting this with three different tables. You can see RBKP, RSEG, and EKPO. These are three different tables. It's in a user-friendly text, and this is your data elements and the field values. So what are you going to design here? So the implemented method, after defining this, and you're going to get this implemented method from the one of the class, and within the class you have to declare one method. So that is the AMDP class you're going to define. You're going to create that AMDP class, and that's a class what we have defined here. I'll show you this. This is the class. So you're going to create the class, and it's simple. My business scenario is required to create a one class. So, and within the class you're going to have the method. You're going to call the method, and the method you will have that the logic. What are the logic you required as per your business scenario? But while preparing the class, you have in a basic the thumb rules what you have to follow. Now, while creation of the table functions in a step 1, while creation of the class in a step 2, and the creation of the views in a step 3, there is a basic the rules what blindly we have to follow. So those are the guidelines you have to take care of while designing this. So on top of it, logic is on your own. Logic is on your business scenarios. So that you have to follow. Now, what are the basic thumb rules? What are the basic fundamentals? What do you have to follow? So now, while designing your any table functions, the type of the views we have in different types of the views, especially in when you talk about in a CDS views, we have in a different, like in a basic view, composite view, and consumption views, and all the private views, and it should be annotations in a different way. What is the basic view, what is the composite view, and what is the consumption view? That I'll give you the little bit later. Just I'll keep part of this, otherwise you will get confusion on this. I'll talk about this, the types of the views, how to select, and when we have to select what type of the view. Basic view when we have to select, composite view when we have to select, and consumption view when we have to select. And if you observe this in my table function, here I have a table function name and I have the VDM. This is the annotation. It's the annotation view. My view type is a basic. Why I declared as a basic? Normally we have a types of views and basic, composite, and a consumption other views. I will discuss on that. But why I just selected it's a basic. We'll discuss that. Just keep a part and remember this. Okay, then my table function name, then my return values. Now you see, what is that? The client and input parameters are defined with the keywords, with the parameters if you required any. These are the inputting parameters. It's again depends on your business scenario. And exporting parameters are defined under the keyword after the return, and the same as consumed by the CDS view on the top of the table function. Now you see, if it's input parameter, now these are my input parameters I commented, and this is the return where I'm going to use my in CDS view, and this CDS view I'm going to use it in my inbox as a Fury applications. Let's say my Fury applications required, this is my application, what we are going to end result, this is my inbox standard application, and this is where you're going to use all these contents. So now what I required a fund center, a reference and company code, invoice date, document number, year, amount, and currency, and the table. And remember, I've not even written one line of code in my UI including this table, including this my intent based navigation, that is called intent based navigation. So I've not even written one line of code in my web IDE. I've not even opened up it. So still you can follow this again. So first you take up the collection of the information what you're supposed to display on your UI application, either in inbox or any other customer application. What are the contents you require? So those ones you are going to define as a return parameters. Hope you clear. So now to pull that return parameters, again on top of your business scenario, to pull the return parameters, do you require any the input parameters? Now if I run through this, if I execute this, I'll just take this, I'll run through from my, I'll open in 100, I'll just open in 300. Now I do execute this. Now you'll get an output without asking any kind of input parameters, right? Now what I do, I'll just uncomment this. I'll just trying to do in 300, but it's not allowed. I'll just do it in 100 first, then activate, and then it will be available in your something error. Wait. Those parameters are not defined, so it will just one second. Let me It will request, it will prompt you that its input parameters as the document number and the year to pull this values. I'll just show you that. See, initially it was before, it was not asking any kind of the input parameters. It was pulling my all the required data, but now here it's an I do get this, the prompt, the document number and year. It's all that depends on your business logic again. What was that? Okay, now you see, again I will execute. Now it won't prompt me anything. Now this is again your business, based on your business scenario, whether you want to define your input parameters or you just simply run that in a return values. So those return values. So as per my business scenario, what was I am expecting here? Just only the required approval process. Approval process would be allow the user to take an appropriate action from the my inbox. So here the user is not providing any kind of input parameters. I'm just pulling the data. So that's you are going to create the table function as a first step. Okay, in the table functions you are defining the views. Now we talk about the views. The views, it's a major roles what it will play in HANA, especially in a CDS. You have in a different types of the views. It's in a huge topic. It's a vast content of this. I'll try to simplify it in a simple way. After that, you can Google it and you can go to the SDN or you can go to the saphelp.com and there you can find out the much information. So you have in a database at the bottom of the layer. The database, which is considered like it's in a memory or your direct DB or some XYZ. The basic view you have, on top of it you have in a composite view, on top of it you have in a consumption view, on top of you have in a UI. So here UI application at the top, the user is going to access the UI application, but that application get the information through the consumption view, and consumption view communicating to the composite, and the composite communicating to the basic view and basic. So this is the design structure what we're supposed to follow. So composite view, the combination of the composite view and the basic view, it's called, you can call as an interface view. You can see in a second image. So this is the why what here I declared this as a basic view. The basic view which is going to directly interact with your database, not composite view, not consumption view. That means, let's say in my designing structure, if I'm pulling some data, so that always should have the basic view that's going to communicate directly your DB, irrespective of the DB. So this is the thumb rule. This is the fundamental. This is the basic. What type of the basic views you have? There again, you have a number of types, number of information, much information that you can get it from that at help.sap.com. But still, if you require any help and any information offline or later, you can reach me and we can discuss on that. But during in a small the slot, we cannot discuss in depth of this. I'll give you that's only the guidelines. Now this is what we have created as a table function as a basic view. Now what is the second step? Now the second step, table function is already created. And before I approach this, hope you guys are with me. Hello?
Yes.
Hope you guys are following, right?
Yes. It is fine, Venu. And I'm sorry to interrupt. Actually,
Yes.
if we already half the time is completed, maybe we can skim to the main
Yeah.
topic.
Exactly. Now it's in a few of them. It's let a team understand it exactly the baseline, so then easily they can go through that. Now the AMDP, what we do AMDP creation. While you creation of the AMDP, the thumb rule is you can see the underline the first para. If underscore AMDP underscore marker underscore HDP. This is what you have to follow while creation of it, and the using of that. It's in a, whatever the using of that, the schema and the return values. So here in the class, if you see the interface in a public section, I've created as an interface if underscore AMDP underscore. This is the very important. This is what you have to make it. Then only the class can convert into the ANDP. If I'm not using this interface, your class cannot be converted, treated as followed as an AMDP. Now, what are the class method? What you're using here? It's an invoice and all these things and table functions, and just simply the method name what you're writing here. Now, how do you make the connection between my table function and my class? You can see here. This is the table function name, which I created, will have that all my input written parameters, and here the same name, table function name, what I'm implementing here. In my table function, again, you can see the last line, row number 34 here. Here you have its class name and what is the method you're calling while execution of this table function. Now the same class name and same the method name. Now the logic is yours. Whatever the logic, what you write, it's on your business scenario. Only the fundamental, the thumb rule, how to define, how to communicate, how to call your table function, and this how to call this AMDP inside the table function. This is the two thumb rules and the logic on your own. Now your table function is got created, your class is got created. The step 2 is done. Now step 3. Now you create the consumption of the table function within a CDS. Now here you're going to create the CDS. Till step 3, still I've not even logged in my GUI. I've not even logged in Web ID. Now here in step 3, you create that it's a simple CDS views, and you call that in a table function in the CDS view. And after that, you maintain that in SWF view. I'll show you that. And then you will define in a CDS in a step 5 all the intent-based navigations and how do you do. Now your table function is done, your class is done. Now I have the two CDS views. One is called as in a header, one is called an item. Why I'm creating the table, two views, one is a header and item. If you could see, my output is expecting as this as a header, and this is the line items. So header I'm calling in one view, item is calling in other view. So how do you have this association? Most of the OData consultant know about associations. How you do create in OData in the similar way we can create in a simplified manner. Here I created its annotations of this, the simple annotations, what you can maintain. The object models, you have this different types of annotations. All these things you can do follow from here. You have in help.sap.com. You will get into more information here. So, but only the thing is just go through this first. This is the best place where you can get that much information. You can just read that. And what type of the annotations would we have to use accordingly. And this you can see my PDM type is in a consumption view. As we discussed, the application which is communicating to the my UI, that's going to declare as in a consumption view. And this I'm going to publish as odata.publish.true. So this is going to be the publish as a OData, and this my OData is going to communicate my inbox. Now here I have a header information, and this is you're creating that view name, and then this is the link where you are getting your return parameters. What is this? This is my MIR7 table function get invoice details. So as soon as my view triggered, it will trigger my table function. All these return parameters filled by my class. My class have my business logic. What are the content I'm supposed to fill it? The class will call through the table function, and table function will call my header application. Now the data is available on your basket. Data is available in your reference, but how do you going to display this on the screen? Because of here we are not designing the UI application. So but here let's see, the UI guy can work without OData consultant, and OData consultant can work without UI consultant. So here the same person have that an equal knowledge, the equal information, he can design his own. So if you approach it the right manner, if you aware of all these things. Now simply, now if you see, I'll give you that simple example. How do you define this, the label? Normally as a UI guy, what he will do, he will create an UI view, and then he will create an XML view, then he will create the properties, and the properties he will bind with a controller, and the controller will call to your OData. This is the regular process what we do. But here I'm not defining any XML parameters, I'm not creating any controller, I'm not calling any OData. Just simply I'll create the end user of this. This is my label, and before that label you can see I've created as two groups, the general information and invoice information. So for this, again, if you design the same thing in UI, again you have to do that iViews, and you have to have that on layouts, and the floor plan, you have to maintain that floor plan in your XML iView. That's a lengthy code what you have to supposed to write. But here it's a matter of my 3 lines. I divided into the 3 groups. My UI effects, now here this is my general information ID. I created as in a summary true, and I given that's collection. Now here it's in a parent ID line item. Now I given this ID as a 2. You remember this is very important, and ID as a 1. The general information, I given ID as a 2. The general information, again my parent ID, I given as a 1. Now the label is different. One is the general information, one is invoice information. Now if you can see here, the 2 groups you can do create. Now how do you going to segregate these values within the general information, within the invoice information? Simply, what is your ID? ID is a 2. So whenever you're creating the group level, the text is an invoice, and what is the object? I'll talk about the semantic object, just park it. Now position, what is the position you're going to display, and the UI field group. Now you can see here qualifier is a 1. So that means the label and the data element, it's going to be falling into my group 1. That is under invoice information. If I'll give you the simple information, what I do, I just simply I'll change my label name. Invoice, I'll just inv document number. I'll just activate. Let's see whether do impact on my screen. Now I need to, we'll go here. I'll just that's a huge content, Mahesh. Try to simplify it in basic level. Let's see. Try to finish it within timelines.
It's okay, Venu. Take your time.
Now you see.
Interesting.
Now you see. I've changed the label. My label is changed, and that's impacted on my screen. I'm not even, there is no XML, there is no your UI codes, there is no controller, there is nothing. The label. Now what the system will define, let's say if I comment of this label, this is a custom label. What you're following now here, where was it? Now this is a custom label, right? It's a user defined label. Now I'm commenting this. What do we get here if I don't define any of my invoice document number? Where you're getting this? Any idea? Anyone can guess of this?
From
Data
the
element.
standard data element.
Exactly. So the standard data element which you already defined in your ABAP, it's pulling from, it's in a document number, it's pulling from your RE Bellner. So this is what in ABAP already is defined. If you, I can show you that, but short of time we cannot dig into that area. You can refer that. So it's a business scenario. It's as per my business scenario. Let's say my user doesn't want this invoice document number. My user want to have only this simple information called as an INV doc number or something else. So you can have the customized labels. You can do manage without writing any line of code in your UI or in your OData, or just by simply using your annotation. That is the beauty of annotation. That is what we are here today to explain. So not only this, I've just used only the 4 of them, but it's not only this enough. You can see here you have the many annotations. There's a huge, the miracles. You can trust me. If you start doing of this practice right, trust me, you will enjoy it. You love it, and you can do miracles. So such a way we can do create. Similarly, you can create your invoice data group, and you can create your general information. Now we follow this. Now any data to be fallen under invoice information, what I'm going to do, what is my ID of information? Invoice information is a 1. The simply qualifier will be 1. If any data to follow under the general information, what would be my qualifier? The target qualifier would be 2. If you see here, 1 of the document number, 1 of the year, 2 of my fund center. The 2 will fall into general information. If you could see, what is that? It's in a fund center. This is the my annotation which I declare into the qualifier as a 2 target qualifier, and now this is the fund center. If you want to create a third more of the group, what are you going to do? You're going to create this one. What else? If I activate this, let's see what will happen. I'll have one more. Sorry, let's activate this. What's wrong? Okay. I'm just activating this. Let's see what will happen here. Now see, you have one more line item with others. There is no data. We have not defined anything in this my CDS view, so you cannot see any data. That's the group just you created. You initiated that. Similarly, the qualifier, its target qualifier, which plays the major role to
Hello,
display your data.
you have a question in message. Maybe you can check. Someone is asking.
Oh, okay. I'm not.
If you want to ask, you can ask, or else it's okay.
Okay, guys, can we raise the questions after this?
Yeah,
Is that okay, right? I'll just answer this after this.
Yeah, actually, you can take the questions at last.
Yeah, that's great.
Sure.
Now the target qualifier will have that. It's identify the data to segregate and display, and how do you going to display that? So now this is the way you can create the CDS view. Now let's say I created the CDS view, and just one more, guys. You have to, as we decided, we have created the 2 views, one for the header and one for the item. How this item view, item details, we're going to display on this. Now if you see here, line item details, and I'm making this as a 2 child composition as a child, and this is my item details. And this item details, I created a separate CDS view, and this CDS view will have this information. You're going to create again. This is also, it's getting from my table function. It's all your business scenario. Based on your business scenario, how you're going to define, how many number of views you required, that you have to be the freeze your designing process. Then you initiate first how many views you required, which view is going to communicate your DB, And on the top of that basic view, how many composite views you require, how many consumption views you require. Then you design that first, then you start initiation of the code. So that item CDS view, I've just created, I prepared that what are the data I required as in all the items, and those ones, and then I'm calling here. And only the thing is how you make the association with my item. You can see here. This is my item. Get invoice details. Sorry, not this one. This one. MIR7 hyphen item details, and thus you're going to maintain your association with this on document number. Now you're going to call this as a composition of your child view, so that you will get it as a line item on your inbox application. Now let's say you understand the business scenario, you created the table function, you created that's the AMDP class, and the table function is pulling the logic from the class, and the class is called by the table function, and the table function is calling your main view, composite view, right? And the composite view again connecting to your item. So this is the view which is going to communicate your my inbox application, and this having the call from the table function, and this view it's called from your item view. Now how do you going to make this available? The first thing, define this OData as a publish. So this is going to be create your OData. You don't need to log in into your SCG, you don't need to register around all these things. The simply you will be created the OData will be created, and just what we need to do, we need to activate this activation step. It's taking a little bit of time, and I hope you guys know how do we check. Okay, do you want me to show this? There you go. This is your OData, which is created your view name. Now this is my OData name, right? Now how my UI5 application, now how my this CDS is going to communicate my inbox. This is the major step. This is what exactly what we require to do the configuration. We are not required, a coding part is done now. Now we have an option called SW of Visu. You have an T code, and what you have to do, as Parth mentioned, after designing the workflow, the workflow consultant and a workflow designer will provide the task ID. You have to take the task ID. Against that task ID, you have to maintain your parameters in SW of Visu. What are we going to do here in this? So here, what is your param1? Your OData service. This is the service what we have registered, and this is your service name. And what is the entity? Your entity, and what are the input values what you're required to pull your document number. So this input parameters required, which is defined in a workflow, that you have to take it from the workflow consultant, and what are the catalog information you're going to bind. This is the configuration part where you can maintain your SW of Visu. Once this done, and your CDS view available in my inbox. So now here you have 2 more points. How do I have this? What do we call these things? Now here, invoice document number. When I click on this invoice document number, so it will navigate to my invoice document number. You could see this. This is the SAP GUI screen. SAP as of now not release the standard Fury application for this. You can see here. What is my invoice number? Where was that? What is my invoice number of 791? My full screen is not working. Invoice document number 71, and this is your invoice document number. And this is my purchase order. Still I can do, this is called as an intent-based navigation. What normally SAP standard will provide this. So this is also we can do making a customization. Now you can see here. So here if I click on this, I can easily navigate to my purchase order in a display mode. This is all the custom. I'm calling the standard purchase order application to in display mode. Now you can see the all the information. So here your purchase order number, if you can see. This is the intent-based navigation, how you can make it this with only one line of code. I'll show you this. Invoice number, and if I click on this the MIR7 application, now you see invoice number of this and now my purchase order. This is my invoice number 771, and the earlier one, it's invoice number 791. My purchase order earlier, it's 4 all zeros and 72. There's a many features actually. It's a small area. I'm just showing that it's a very tiny area what we can cover in this short of time, but you have a huge. So now how do we make this intent-based navigation? We call it an intent-based navigation, right? It's one line of code. What I'm going to do, I'll just simply consumption as a semantic object, and this semantic object I'm making as a only display. If you want to manage, you have a different kind of the semantic object actions what we define. Most of the UI guys know what is a semantic object. What we do, so simply we do create a semantic object as in a custom one, and that semantic object we use it in target manage, where in a catalog. So what I define here in my slides after step 3, step 4, step 5, this is your SW of Visu, and this is your just brief information. What is the basic view, what is the consumption view, and what is the composite views, where we use to create which has to be communicate the ABAP, and what is the composite views to communicate what, how do you define all this, the composite views and all. Now just master data, what to be have that and maintain as a master data, and what to be maintained as a transactional data. Just I'll share this the presentation. You can go through this, and it will help you out understanding and type of the service qualifiers and the qualities and size and all this. What based on your record size you can define your the view and data types and the categories, and you have an information little bit. I just try to manage some more information that will help you out in one line, and in one presentation that will help you to understand. Just go through this based on your information, so you will get this. Hopefully that covers the much information, but it's a short of time. We cannot cover end to end, but with this you may get an idea. So it will help you in your the regular activities in your business scenarios, and you can you to start initiation of the practice. So that's all, guys.
It's great, Venu. It's awesome session. Actually, you are saying you didn't give a lot of information, but it's very good information and very nice information. You actually went from basic to showing the actual end result. It was nice session, and people were having some questions, and someone raised a hand as well. Ashutosh.
Okay, actually, yeah, while raising this, while presenting this, I could not able to see the screen, but now I'll take this. So yeah, please go on. What questions you what?
Yes,
Hello?
yes. Anyone, if anyone have any questions, you can ask.
Hello, Venu. Yeah, so I have two questions. My first question is that, as you said, this My Inbox app is created for the environment should be S4 HANA. So actually, my company is not using S4 HANA yet. So can't we use CDS annotation and can't we use this approach of creating a OData service in R3?
You can do create, but only the issue is like the intent based navigation concepts, the few
Hmm.
functionalities
Hmm.
still is not available. If even though not S4, even though if you have an ABA component, you can check it in your component
Yeah, 7.5.
750
Yeah.
750, yeah, still you can use it,
Okay.
still you can use it.
ABA is only ABAP, like
Yeah,
ABA. Yeah, it's
yeah.
7.5. Okay.
Exactly. But here, when we're defining that's an annotation like an OData, and this OData, what do you call it? The published true, right?
Yeah.
Where you're defining this, the registration process will do the if it's a HANA system, will manage
Hmm.
the few registration process on its own, right?
Okay.
If it's non-HANA systems, what do you have to do? There is the manual steps you have to
Okay.
follow. That's the
Okay.
only the difference. It's not like you cannot do, but you can do with a
Hmm.
few manual steps.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
completely agree with
thank
Venu
you.
on this. You can use MPC extension annotations also, but it is all ABAP coding. Too much coding you have to do.
Yeah.
Unlike what Venu showed, right? It's all just annotations. What Venu has shown, it was very simple, right?
Okay. And just one more question. So, the process till creating a CDS view is fine. Then to use it in a Fury application, you used workflow. But if we do not have any workflow, or I do not understand this one, that I have not worked on workflow yet. So then also we can use this concept in a UI5 application without using workflows.
Yeah. Why not? The business scenario, what we have the took here, what the business scenario, what we have collected here to show the workflow to end of your the UI5 application to explain that and what all the contents what we have right now. But
Hmm.
let's say there is no workflow, that's only to display the collection of information. There is no actions required, just
Yeah.
like a reports. So that you
Hmm.
can do.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Venu, one question here. Basically, here we used a table function, right?
Yeah.
And that was consumed within that CDS.
Yes.
So, like, is this a particular scenario where we have to go with table function, or just for the demo purpose, you took the table function?
Exactly. The only the demo purpose to cover the contents what we have, I just use that in a table function. So same scenario, we can do design without a table function. Directly, I can create in a basic CDS view that will have that all my written parameters, whatever I define in my table function. So the same
Right.
basic view we can do create, and that basic view have the top of the my database, and after that, and you can have that in a composite view. Then you can create a consumption view to communicate your UIF application. It's all your business scenario.
Right. But I mean, if we compare these two approach, should we assume that the table function will have a better performance if you go with the all CDS design for getting the data?
Yeah, you do have that in the small the differentiate what's in the performance wise. Yes, it will take a little bit more time than the your views. That's I do agree, but it's all the number of tables. Let's say if I'm using directly my data elements and all these things, then it's not preferable. But it's all depends.
Okay. And this table function, is it like part of AMDP, or is a separate kind of object?
It's a part of the AMDP. Let's say if you are using any class, let's say I have in a class, I need to implement the class, I need to insert some records in my CDS view, then you have to use the classes. So if you're using the class, then the table function is only the mechanism.
Right. And the table for the table function, we always have to go with that marker interface you said, right? It has to
Yeah,
match.
classes you'll have that, and the interface you have to define that. Then only the class is considered as an AMDP.
AMDP. Okay.
And once you're converted into the AMDP, that you cannot handle, you cannot edit from the regular process from the GUI. That you can only manage, you can only edit through that Eclipse.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thanks.
That's all. Thank you.
Hi Venu, one
Hi.
question only.
Mm,
Can I?
Yeah,
Or
please,
if you
please,
want to
please
do
go
that?
on.
Yeah, so for now we have created a custom CDS view and published as a OData service, and we define a like a custom workflow for my inbox application, right?
Right.
And suppose we have a custom another UI5 application that is not designed the Fiori elements. So how can we achieve this? I guess in the Fiori element application template we can use only CDS. Correct me if I am wrong.
No, no, just the few clarification. Your Fury applications design in which how that application is got designed.
Suppose I developed a application in a freestyle template, like a SAP UI5 template or a master detail template. I didn't create any Fiori element-based template like a list report, analytical. I didn't design that application. So it can work in our freestyle application because I'm not sure right now. Can you guide me?
No, I'll still having a little bit confusion on your question. Like when you're designing the templates using within a standard templates and in WebID,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you want to extend that on applications. You want to add that as an extra functionalities.
I think I'll tell
Yeah,
what
yeah.
he's saying. He's actually
Mm-hmm.
asking. He don't have Fiori template-based application. He just have a normal custom-based application, and he wants to use annotation, power of annotations, right, man?
Yes, yes, yes.
Then he's talking about that smart controls, right? Smart.
You're talking about the smart controls.
Mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I created an application from scratch. There is no template base. There is no Fiori element template. I created a simple template, SAP UI5 template, and I want to consume CDS view in that SAP UI5 application.
No, then why you having that in a two-side approach?
Sorry.
Why you having that in a two-side approach? Let's say when you're creating the CDS view, why don't you
Mm-hmm.
create that directly in a UI application using within a CDS view?
So in the CDS view, I can only create like list report, analytical list report application, right?
Yes,
And if I want a application that is like a form-based application only, or a
exactly.
simple
Now I understood.
approval, yeah.
Now I understood. What do you have to do? You just build your own logic into the CDS, and once you register that, that's an activation of this and CDS. You consume in your UI5 application the way normally you do the OData for the OData.
Okay.
The CDS applications, the CDS view, whatever you're creating, you make it as an OData published true.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
The
Right.
logic, whatever the logic, what you're trying to pull as in the contents and the written parameters will be available in your OData. That will be
Mm-hmm.
publish as an OData. That OData you consume in your UI5 application.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So UI5, your UI5 application here, the CDS view as just like an OData. They don't have an artifacts, they don't have an annotations, but you'll have an written parameters. So that data you can do display as per your requirement once you get in your basket.
Okay. And one more. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem. No
If I
problem.
have a CDS view with parameters, you define that with parameters. If I need to consume in the UI5 application, then can be consumed in simple application.
No, but if you define that, that's in the input parameters, right? And input parameters, and while to load your UI5 applications, you have to what do you call? You have to provide that as input parameters. So how do you going to provide applications? So normally, even in if you take any example of UI applications, UI5 applications, the most of the times input parameters would be the document number or invoice number or the date or some kind of a key value.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The
Right.
key value you can tag it, you can as an input parameters while you binding your OData, and
Okay.
just you
Okay.
can call it.
Okay.
Hope
Okay.
you
I
clear,
will
right?
connect. Yeah, I will connect you offline because I got a requirement with a CDS view parameter. I need to create application. I just go through all the means community. There is no standard way to create a list report with CDS view with parameter. So
You can create then a CDS view, the one I shown you. That's a similar way you can create the CDS views with the parameters, and those parameters, the same CDS view, you can call it in your UI applications by binding this input parameters. That do possible.
okay, okay. Thank you, Venu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Venu. This is Amit here. So I
Hey,
have a
Hamid.
small question. That when you're having this with parameters, or let us say you're consuming directly this UI with our ABAP based CDS views. So is there any limit on parameters? Let us say I need to do a PO application wherein I need to pass 100 POs as filter. So is it possible to pass a list of filters to this backend CDS views from UI?
That's true, but it's not as suggestible normally.
Yeah, I know that, but
But
sometimes
it's
what
not a, it's
customers ask is
no, that's
they are
true.
like they need to do part reporting. They need to have 100 parts at a go. They'll upload some parts
You
and
can
then
maintain you can
yeah.
maintain that range something, but it's not in a the good approach. It's
Okay. So
what we have
And
to,
basically,
it using
it's
where
a
conditions, right?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think Mahesh, it's like basically when we need to pass entire table, then looks like the CDS approach is what not advisable. Rather, we take a different approach, right? Via normal deep inserts and all.
Functionality is fine, right? You can pass it as a where condition filter. You don't need parameters, right?
You can use that in a where condition and apply that in a where condition. Why do you want to the pass that? It's in a 100 the filter. See what exactly the input parameters you're filtering.
Yeah. But when you pass as where condition, right? Filtering directly on HANA is only possible when you pass directly as parameters, right? Or basically, if you do a where condition.
It will be possible. Like CDS, if you generate, if
Uh-huh.
like Venus scenario, right? If you have a Fiori filter bar, smart filter bar, and smart table, if you pass 100 values, also they will be passed as a filter to the database, right? So it will be
Okay.
taken care by SAP framework.
If it's the same CDS view, whatever we created now, right? That CDS
Uh-huh.
view, I can call it directly by list report.
Okay, fine. Then
Using within a template. Actually, I was supposed to show that one also, but I'm short of time and we are not continue that.
yeah, maybe
But I
Mahesh,
just
if you can keep a small session in the next stamp stage as well for
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Venus.
Mahesh.
It's
yeah,
really
this is,
interesting to have
like, I think many
this.
people are interested, right? Yeah, we can have even very good sessions, right? Along these lines of CDS views and
Yeah,
what Venu was
maybe
looking.
kind of a part 2 or something. Yeah, that would be highly
we'll definitely how we can extend this into the list report and the work list reports, how we can continue that. It's now without line of any code, again in my web IDE, the same my CDS view, I can make it as in a list report. I can make it as in a report, the work list report.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
That we will continue in the next session.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
And nice guys, it's very nice. So ask more from the community. So ask community people, because there will be some other experts in these areas or some other area, right? Cloud platform, or any area expert like workflow or anything. So ask, so they will give some session. Or if you also want to learn and give, right? So you learn and give. Like the next session which Puneet is going to give, right? He is not an expert in that area, but he is learning, and he is learning many new things in that cloud platform, and he wanted to share that with our community. So like that, it's nice. So start asking and start giving. So any other
Mahesh,
question?
can you give Venu's all handles over here or the chats community
Yes,
handles?
we will share all Venu, Path, all these handles, so
Yeah.
you can
Thanks.
contact them in case anything is required, right?
Yeah, and guys, if anyone has any question in the backend workflow, then I can help them, because and
The
see what we felt is, see, in ECC, I think one of our friend asked that they don't have S4 HANA. So in ECC, it used to be a different Fiori applications for purchase order approval, purchase requisition approval. As a part of S4 HANA, SAP introduced a concept called as a unified inbox. So unified inbox is nothing but where, if you had seen the Venu screen, where it was like purchase order or purchase revision, everything used to come in a single application. So that is what is called as a unified inbox. So going forward, or many of us might come across a requirement where there is a complete custom workflow, and they want to show it in this unified my inbox application. So how to plug in that? SAP has already given us the standard unified application, which is catering to the standard workflows like purchase order, purchase requisition, where you just do few of the customization and it gets activated and it starts showing in a way, the way Venu was showing.
And
The intention.
one more question you got from chat. You can see the chat. Someone is asking you about workflow related question. Maybe you can help them as well.
You will have to help me in where how to find chat.
There is a one the chart window. You can see
Yeah, you
that.
can see. Yeah, you can see Venu's
Yeah,
screen, right?
okay. Yeah, what is that? now.
Yes, I raise a question I can read for you. When you create a CDS and assign to a task, so we still require a workflow object, right, to make it available in the inbox. It's not like still annotation can handle it to appear
Correct,
inside.
correct. No,
That is,
correct, correct.
interface between your CDS
Correct.
plus your inbox.
Correct. That is where Venu had shown the SWF VSU. That is the only configuration which will assign this particular task to the inbox application, and the details or the corresponding details which will be fetched from the underlying OData, that also we have to provide in that configuration. So I think if I can share my screen. Mesh, can I share my screen? Like, I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah,
You can Parth.
Yeah, okay, done. So the question what you are asking is, see, I think I thought that this question should have come, and very good that you asked, but this is what is my task, right? Now here, what we have assigned is, I am assigning it to my generic application, inbox application. And the parameters, visualization parameter is where the connection is done. This is the OData service created from that CDS view. And the key, you are saying the invoice number is being passed here. That because this CDS view has a key field called as a document number. Now at the runtime, how this document number will be assigned and the data will be fetched from the CDS view is the runtime, the workflow container. This is the element name which is containing the value.
Yes.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So if I show you the workflow is task is 34. So yeah. So this is the particular workflow. This is the user decision task which is we are assigning to that. You can see it's a 34 task. And if I go to this task and if I see the container, then here it's a container. It is saying, I'll just make the technical things on. So it's invoice is the runtime object of type bus 2081, which is for MIR7, and it has got the key field as invoice document number. So it is invoice doc number. That is what we have assigned here. So this is the linkage what you are asking.
So first we create the TS99934 task, assign the CDS and
workflow is to be created. Correct. Workflow is to be created.
Yes, then take the task and use inside your SWD object, the workflow object.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And then this is what you have to give. Either you can do it this VSU configuration, or because the OData service will be provided by, in our case, Venu created this OData service and CDS views, and I created the workflow. So that is where I provided him that the key, runtime key, whatever he can get, the document number will be in this particular container field of my task.
So here, just one point here, the same screen, this is the area where you have a communication of the triangle, workflow, your UI, and your CDS.
Yes, all are getting connected. All are getting connected
here. This is the key area to run your UI5 applications in any standard, any workflow. So the workflow consultant will provide your task ID. And if you design your CDS and the CDS, you will know, and only the what we need to do, task ID as well as the input parameters to process your workflow, to trigger your workflow. You require some event. You require some actions. What event will trigger? The event will trigger by the having some input, the input parameters that you need to get it.
The workflow you build is complete. I mean, it's not only for that particular task, right? But a 334 task number. It's a complete.
It is workflow for the MIR7 approval. Now, any workflow will have a approval task, right? Yeah.
Yes,
so that is that particular task. So yes, I think what you are asking is, in my workflow, I have let's say multiple steps, but only the approval step is what you have to connect in SWF, not the other steps. If you can see, I have the multiple installer systems, reporting data. I mean, some of the data to fetch the approver or any other details.
Yes, instead of this, if I build a workflow only with the decision task and
Yes,
assign
correct.
that task
Correct.
created, it will make it work. Right? It's just
Yes,
approval.
correct.
Yes,
Because
yes.
actually, I'll show you the why I have kept the other steps, which is not required, because all the peripheral data or all the supported data is being fetched in the CDS view only. So your question is correct. Why I have put the background task to fetch the data again? But if I tell you, this is the one which Venu has shown, and there is one more like. See, are you able to see the difference in the UI of task?
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So this task is nothing, but this is I had one old workflow,
Which is we are triggering directly the data from the workflow. There is no CDS, there is no artifacts, there is no
yeah.
annotation.
No, yeah. So this is this is another workflow.
Yes, core workflow.
The task is different, but if you see in the inside the task also, you can write the description, right? This is very
Yes,
vague. I mean, this is raw
yes,
way. So this
yeah,
is what is being displayed here in this way.
yes.
So you got it. So it is not very good, or it doesn't look at the same time. If I see my purchase order, this is given by SAP standard. So expectation of the user, that why that is coming that way and why purchase order is coming this beautiful way. That was
Yes,
the that was the root question which has triggered all this.
yes. It's a very exciting feature to, I mean, see it. It's
Yeah, so
I.
any workflow, any custom workflow, you can just plug in play. The data will be provided by the CDS view. CDS view you can create with table function, without table function, anything, and just create composite or basic view to fetch the data, create a consumption view, publish it as a OData, and then straight away do SWF Visu configuration, and your things would be ready.
Okay. One last question. This user decision, yes, approve or reject. How you link back to your CDS?
It's not linked back to CDS. Basically, okay. I think this is what
Something
No,
further, if I want to have
can I? Parth?
Yeah, you can, but I mean, see the standard inbox, this generic inbox application, what SAP has given. In that, it's a framework where any of the task, once you click on approve or reject, when you take any decision to implement the decision, because upon let's say purchase order I'm approving, then it should get released, right? It should yeah. So that thing SAP has given a standard body. For the same, inside that body you have to write this code. So only data fetching part is from CDS. Once you are trying to write the data or trying to take the decision, that writing back to the application is not taken care in CDS. There CDS doesn't come into the picture.
Okay, so it's a one way. You bring down information, come
Yes,
to the
correct.
workflow, and next you handle inside your SWDD. Decision.
Correct. Yes, because the main thing is, see, this is like Venu has told is 1809, but actually we did it in 1709 also. So in S4 HANA. So this is what I mean. Latest RAP, this RESTful application programming is giving you the CRUD operation, right? It's a similar CRUD operation. We can just create this consumption CDS view, publish it as a service, and then the application is ready on UI. So this is half. Only reading part is on the way of the RESTful application programming, where you are able to read the data without and display it in the Fiori without writing any single line of code in WebIDE or Fiori. And this is a universal inbox. So along with the standard, any custom workflow also you can plug in, as we have done.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank
And
you.
guys,
Thank
I
you.
have shared Parth's and Venu's, LinkedIn profiles, and in the chat, you can go and check them out. I'm pretty sure they will be helpful. And
Yes.
I also shared WhatsApp group also, where we share event details like that, so you can join that as well.
Yes, I think once I think Puneet is must be waiting, so I think I will not take much time. But if later on after Puneet's session, if we are getting into the discussion, I will show you some tips and tricks Like this is what we actually felt difficult. This SAP note, it is saying that behavioral of the approver comments. So it is as such nothing, but let's say if I am into this approval, if I'm writing this comment, okay, when I'm approving, so this comment, let's say I have 4 levels of approval. Now our business wanted that each level should be able to see what was the comment given by the previous approver. Now that, yeah, so and that this is very basic or very easy to, I mean, basic requirement or valid requirement, reasonable requirement by the business. What SAP clearly told is, see, symptom 2 is open a Fiori application, CA, PO, PR click or approve comment. The next approver cannot see the comment. Thus, this is one of the note. What SAP is saying that for this in classical workflow, the approval comments does not flow to the next level. So there is nothing, and we are using the classical workflow right now. In flexible workflow, it is given, but only from 1909. So what about 1809, 1709? So we achieved this in the classical workflow in 1809. But that is what is, I will talk about like how we did it. That is, so basically anything here, if you want to play around in this My Inbox application for any particular task, that is what you can do through this thing. So yeah, so as SAP S/4HANA was evolving, so many of the things SAP was not supporting and all, but our business will definitely ask this kind of requirement that third level approval should be able to see what were the comments put in by the first level and second level. So this kind of things also we achieved. But I think next series should be the flexible workflow. We'll try to put the same workflow in the flexible workflow and do it, because flexible workflow is the next way in S/4HANA. So we should not do it. Even SAP is also slowly taking off their hand, because they are saying, see, classical workflow, it is not available, but this feature is available for flexible workflow only. So that's it.